Everybody, hopefully all is well. As you know, on this channel, Financipation, I teach you how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, how to build generational wealth, how to financially emancipate yourself from generational poverty. So everybody, it's another lovely night. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the weather and everything outside, depending on the part of the country that you live in. If you're on the East Coast, it's definitely most likely a huge snowstorm outside your house right now, outside your apartment or your door. If you live here in Miami and everything's probably pretty cool to go in regards to the weather. Because generally speaking, Floridians don't got to worry about that kind of stuff. Yeah, hopefully all is well. Hopefully all is well. So, a very important day. First and foremost, shout out to Martin Luther King. This is his holiday. Today is his federal day. So, I want to give a shout out to Martin Luther King. He's absolutely the most important thing to happen in this particular day. And I want to talk a little bit about in regards to Donald Trump and in regards to his meme coin and everything essentially failing. So, if you're not familiar with this channel, everybody, as I stated earlier, I talk all things finance here on Financipation. And on this live chat, I want you guys to essentially ask me any question that you want in regards to financial consulting and things of that nature. As I say all the time, I am not giving you legitimate financial, quote unquote. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. What I am telling you, however, is just giving you financial coaching and in regards to helping you build generational wealth, as I said earlier, financially freeing yourself from generational poverty. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about just in regards to some of the things that are kind of going on right now. First and foremost, if you are familiar with my channel, thank you, Reba. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the live chat and for the money. I appreciate that. It helps the algorithm, helps the money, and it definitely helps the bottom line. So thank you for that. If you want to contribute, anybody, by all means, please hit the super chat button. Or if you want to give me a direct cash app, it's $CHRISP as in preacher 485. So once again, CHRISP as in Paul 485. Okay. So, like I said earlier, I want to talk a little bit about just kind of some of the things going on finance-wise. If you are familiar with my channel, you are well aware of the fact that I'm not a very big crypto guy. In general, everyone, I believe in slow and steady wins the race. I believe that people should invest in things that are tried and true. And for a variety of reasons, I've never really been a big crypto guy. I have invested in the past with crypto, and from my experience of investing into it, I've had much better results. Investing into low-cost index funds, investing into real estate investment trusts, investing into property, investing in land, investing into real estate, and investing into businesses, and also into investing into myself. So in general, everybody, I'm not the biggest fan, if you will, of crypto because to me it is just entirely too much risk. And if you don't believe me, I want you to Google names like Ruja Ignatova or Sam Bankman-Fried. And the reason why I say it is because if you Google these individuals, you'll find they have stolen over 10 billion with a B dollars of their investors' money who invested into their crypto account, into the crypto wallets. Another reason why I'm not the biggest fan of crypto is because there is no regulatory body. Now, I understand that for certain communities and for certain people who fall under a certain political persuasion, the whole no regulatory body sounds really good. But as a person who has an MBA, who is a mechanical engineer, who's taught finance for over 20 years and has basically been helping people with their finances for almost 30 years now, I can tell you with certainty that generally speaking, if you are investing into something that's not very regulated, that makes it significantly easier for people to steal your information, to steal your credit card information, things like that. Hey, what's up, Jackson? Hi, how are you doing as well? So in general, I've never really been the biggest fan of crypto because I find crypto is a very, very easy concept in regards to people stealing your information. It's also very risky. So high risk, high rewards. And generally speaking, I'm still not really running across a lot of holla at your boy, Money Manny, holla at your boy. I'm not really meeting a lot of people essentially who are quote unquote crypto millionaires. I've met a lot of people who have cashed out their 401ks and they are basically essentially miserable because they basically lost all their money. What am I talking about? I'm talking about why I don't invest in the crypto. Everybody, is a free country, obviously. You can do what you want to do. But in general, I invest in the tried and true methods of real estate investment trusts, bonds, stocks, ETFs, and stocks that basically track the total stock market index fund, as well as real estate, property, land, and investing into yourself. So in general, when you ask what I'm talking about, I'm saying why I don't particularly invest in the index, why I don't particularly invest, into crypto. And right now, Donald Trump just put out essentially his own crypto coin. And I have my own reasons as to why I was telling people I would stay as far away from that as possible. If you don't believe me, check out one of my recent podcasts that I did, essentially called How to Survive Financially Under Trump's Tariffs. And if you check out that podcast and everything, you're going to see why I systematically break down why I don't invest in a lot of crypto. Index funds better to invest in. I'll say it to you like this. Index funds have a significantly better track record. Since 1972, index funds have essentially averaged about 12% over the last, let's say, 52 years, or 53 years rather. And by averaging over 12%, they essentially have beaten pretty much every actively managed mutual fund manager. Additionally, another good thing about index funds is that they have a low expense ratio. If you are a long-term investor and you stay in them, they also don't. You also don't hit with capital gains taxes. So yes, they are a pretty good investment to make. I've always been skeptical of crypto and Bitcoin. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that one as well, Esther. So that's what I'm talking about. Brooke Allstock. Uh, as I stated earlier, crypto is one of those kind of things where it's the new flashy kid on the block. It's what everybody's talking about. It's that new hot young person everybody's speaking about. But if you actually dig underneath the hood, it has a lot of issues that go with it. Case in point, Donald Trump recently basically put out his own crypto coin, and literally within him putting it out, and as of this conversation today at 8:05, he has lost 7.5 billion with a B dollars in his crypto account. And what's interesting is that not only has he lost that amount of money, think about the individuals who basically put their investment accounts, their retirement accounts, and also some of their stock portfolios into buying one of his crypto, into buying his, I think it's called hashtag Trump or hashtag Melania, sorry, $ Trump or $ Melania. And think how much money people have lost doing that. And what's also really sad is that not only did it lose $7.5 billion, because it's not a regulated market, a lot of those individuals are going to have most likely have their private information, whether it's their routing numbers, account numbers, bank information, addresses, essentially on the dark web where it can be sold to the highest bidder. If you don't believe me, once again, go back to Ruja Ignatova or Sam Bankman-Fried. So crypto is one of those kind of things, people, that particularly with this new Dogecoin that Elon Musk is pushing, and this new Trump coin that Trump is pushing, and this new Melania, $ Melania, the thing that they're pushing. Literally within the last 12 hours, they have lost over almost 8 billion with a B dollars into that. So what are the takeaways from that? As I said earlier, always invest into things that you understand. My personal advice is quite simple, everybody. And once again, I'm not giving you financial advice. You can do what you want to do. But what I'm telling you is this. There are certain commodities, i.e. land, real estate, total stock market index funds. I'll even put actively managed mutual funds into there, and investing into businesses, particularly businesses that you are running, that you understand how to run, are generally speaking the best investments that you make. But when you have billionaires and you have centimillionaires essentially and talking heads on a lot of these channels basically telling you what to invest your hard-earned money into, I want you to be very skeptical about listening to these people for one very simple reason. These individuals literally get paid to tell you what to invest into. And not only do they get paid to tell you what to invest into, they are essentially putting their children through college by telling you what to get paid to do. And if you lose money or whether you make money, they're going to still make their money. So they have no incentive to essentially give you the kind of advice that's actually going to help you build your money. So as I said earlier, everybody, you can invest into these mainstream type of Bitcoins and these mainstream type of $ Melania coins that they're talking about. You can invest into these mainstream things that Elon Musk and all these other people are pushing. But if you lose your shirt, which is what a lot of people are doing right now, don't get mad and don't get sorry, okay? Because you're doing it to yourself. Invest into the tried and true things that actually have a track record of working. So another thing that kind of jumped off at me is this. I'm just kind of reading through this article right now. So this is interesting. So according to this, the $ Melania meme coin does not match the reported tokenomics that they were basically pushing on Twitter and X when they basically pushed it the other day. And that's being held by a single wallet. And according to this article, buying this token is extremely risky and will likely result in the loss of funds. Having said that, I'm pulling up an index fund right now that I'm investing into through Fidelity. Right now, the expense ratio on this is 0, which means that for every $10,000 that I make into that, that I put into that account, and that I make for that account, I get charged $0 for it. And the year-to-date return on it is 25%. What that means, everybody, is that because of the rule of 7 and 2, that means every 2 to 2.5 to 3 years, I'm literally doubling my money in what I put into this particular index fund with Fidelity. There's a mutual fund that I own. I'm looking at this one right now. The expense ratio right now is 0.1. That means for every $10,000 that I make on this particular account, they charge me a whopping $10. And on top of that, the year-to-date return on is 20, which means based off the rule of 72, every 3.5 years, I'm doubling my money with it. I mean, and it goes down the list. I mean, there's some real estate investment trusts that I have right now and everything through Charles Schwab. With those particular ones, based off of the year-to-date returns on, I'm basically making about 12%. So every 6 years, because of the rule of 72, my money is doubling. And that's why I say, but I'm not the biggest fan of crypto. And I don't understand why, as a sitting president of the United States, because he just got inaugurated today, why are you essentially hawking your crap on social media, basically telling people what to invest into, what not to invest into? To me, I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's to some extent a conflict of interest. And I don't understand why a sitting president is trying to sell shoes and sneakers and laptops and coins and Bibles and stuff like that. To me, I don't know, it kind of cheapens the office, but that's just my own personal opinion. Another thing too that I want to kind of touch on is something that I was mentioning a little earlier, is that due to the fact that we do have a new administration coming into office, obviously today, which is inauguration day, there are a lot of things that you can do to essentially, I would say, uh, financially thrive under this current administration. So, as an American citizen, and I have very strong opinions about voting and politics and stuff like that. Generally speaking, if you want to find out what those are, you can subscribe to my Patreon channel. By the way, my ticker symbol, my Cashapp is, by the way, everybody, is $CHRIS, P as in preacher, 485. Once again, $CHRIS, P as in Paul, 485. Okay, so in regards to whatever administration is in office, is in the presidential suite and is sitting in the White House, you have to make sure, everybody, that you are doing everything you possibly can to, once again, financially emancipate yourself from poverty and to build generational wealth. And what I mean by that is this: you need to educate yourself on whatever laws are coming up. You need to educate yourself on whatever the retirement accounts and whatever types of laws that are going to be coming up soon, and how they're going to positively or negatively affect you. So, for instance, right now, President-elect Donald Trump is talking about deporting roughly 15 to 20 million people. What that's telling me is this: if you are a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a licensed carpenter, and you are in the construction industry, then get ready. And the reason why I say that is very simple, because roughly 40% of the construction industry right now is made up of individuals who essentially come from Latin America. And no one really knows what the percentage of those individuals are who are here, quote unquote, legally, or who are here as migrant workers, or who are their papers. I can tell you from being a dude who was in the construction industry for many, many years, I worked with a lot of men who, let's just say, they were documented, but they were migrant workers, or they were documented, but they overstayed their visas. So as a result of that, there's a very good possibility that the construction industry is probably about to, quote unquote, explode, because a lot of individuals who are doing the work may or may not get deported. If that's the case, if you are a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a licensed carpenter, and or you own your own business, you need to be very aware of that, because it could positively or negatively affect your bottom line depending on what you do. If you do a lot of work in the government sector and in the federal agencies and everything, where they have to do mandatory background checks, it may or may not affect you a lot. But if you work in kind of industry, let's say, where you're paying people essentially to pick lettuce, you're paying people essentially to slaughter hogs, you're paying people essentially to essentially work in fields where migrant workers are more than likely prevalent, there's a good possibility with these upcoming deportations that are about to start very soon, based off of the Trump administration's executive orders that got passed today, that it could affect you negatively. If you live in the Chicago area right now, that's the first major city that said they're going to basically start doing deportation raids. So these are all the kind of things that you need to know about. Another thing that I want you to be very, very cognizant of are these upcoming tariffs that are most likely going to happen. As it currently stands at the time I'm recording this, Donald Trump seems to kind of be waffling a little bit about what he's saying he's going to do. What I do know is this: Costco, Home Depot, and Walmart have already said that if Donald Trump enacts his tariff, they're simply going to take their tariff that gets thrown into China, that China's going to throw into them, and they're going to throw that tariff directly back onto the American people in the form of our goods, costing roughly 20 to 60% more from Costco, Walmart, and Home Depot. Walmart is the largest retailer in the world, and they're also by far the largest retailer in America. That means, everybody, if that's the case, if these tariffs go through, you need to have a fully stocked emergency fund and budget your money accordingly, because everything's going to get more expensive this year. That's the first thing. Secondly, once again, if you are in the building industry and you are a builder, you are well aware of the fact that most contractors essentially stock up to get a lot of their goods from Home Depot and from Lowe's. And if Home Depot and Lowe's, just as their CEOs are already saying right now, do in fact raise the price of their goods by 25 to 60% to essentially pay for these Trump tariffs that may or may not go into effect, then guess what? That means the cost of your labor and the cost of your materials are going to go up. So you're going to have to charge more money essentially to do the same project, which means you may need to hire less workers, or you may need to stretch out your P6 schedules and your schedules actually deliver your products to the customer because everything's going to cost more. So this is the way I want you guys to kind of start thinking and everything. Obviously, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, you're happy, you're sad today because this is the inauguration. But regardless of what goes on, you need to basically be prepared essentially on how to thrive financially in this upcoming administration. Another thing I want to touch on in regards to the economy and everything. Also, keep this in mind. Whether the economy tanks or whether it goes up, you need to get your investment game up. You need to basically create a budget and say, okay, how much money am I spending and how much money can I save? And once you figure out how much money you are spending and more importantly, how much money you are making, figure out ways to cut your spending. That way you can get your investment to income ratio up. And your investment income ratio, as it sounds, is just that. You find out essentially how much money you make and how much money you are investing, and you want to get that as high as possible. So for instance, let's keep the numbers simple. Let's say you make $5,000 every month, right? And let's say you are investing $500 a month. That means 500 is 10% of 5,000. That means, everybody, that your investment income ratio is 10%. And if your investment to income ratio is only 10%, my personal advice is this year in 2025, you want to probably get that number to about 15%. And for the record, America currently has 22 million millionaires in America right now, which basically makes up about 12% of our population. At that number, the average millionaire in America saves 20% of their money. And what's dope is that of the 22 million millionaires that America has, 88% of them are first generation. So what that means is this: 88%, nearly 90% of America's millionaires today essentially either grew up lower middle class, they grew up poor, or they worked a 9-to-5 job. And if I'm telling you that they worked a 9-to-5 job and they invested roughly 20% of their income over probably the course of like a 25 to 40-year period, that means they're giving you a roadmap, everybody, on how to become a millionaire. And the way they do that is simple. They invest, once again, roughly 20% of their income over decades. So the thing I want you to focus on, another thing I want you to focus on in 2025 is to save more money and to invest more money and to essentially get your income up, okay? That's another thing I want you to focus on. And now, since I'm talking kind of along those lines, since we are talking about saving and investing, I want you to invest into the right accounts, okay? So I don't want you basically saving 20% of your income and throwing it under your couch or anything. One, it can get you potentially robbed. Secondly, I don't want you doing that because there are much better, more tax efficient ways to essentially stimulate the economy and to help your bottom line. So if you are investing roughly 20% of your money, you should invest into the tried and true tax efficient accounts such as your Roth IRA, your 401k, and your HSA if you have one. You want to invest essentially into time honored, tax efficient accounts that are essentially helping you build your generational wealth. And this is whether you have a Democrat in office or a Republican, because as far as I know, Donald Trump, the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party are not talking, and I know for a fact the Democratic Party, they are not talking about changing your 401k, your Roth IRA, or your HSAs in this administration. In fact, the only thing I'm hearing about so far in regards to those three accounts is that in 2025, as of this year, you can invest $7,000 into your Roth IRA. As of 2025, this year, you can invest approximately $8,550 into your HSA if you are single or married. If you're married and you're filing jointly. And for your 401k, I believe it's $23,000. So those are the amounts that you can essentially invest into in those three accounts. And as I said earlier, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican in office, everybody, you need to make sure that your financial house is in order. And one way to do that is to legally lower your taxes by using those three accounts that I talked about. Keep it moving. Another thing, too, that I think you guys should also take a look at, and this is once again whether you have a Democrat or a Republican in office, please establish that emergency fund, everybody. I don't know how else to say this. I was talking with a brother earlier today, and he's talking about, okay, with this new administration we have coming in, Chris, what's something that you think I should do with my money? So as I was sitting down talking to this guy, I quickly realized he didn't have an emergency fund. So I was like, okay, that's the first, that literally is the first thing you should focus on. Whatever amount of money that you make every month, you should have an itemized budget saying, okay, I spend $4,000 every month. I spend $5,000 every month. And if that's the case, you need to establish a 3 to 6 month emergency fund and bump it up to a 9-month emergency fund as you keep stacking your paper. So that's something else you should focus on. Once again, whether you have Donald Trump, Obama, Kamala, JD Vance, whoever, Joe Biden, it doesn't matter. Regardless of who the presidential candidate is and regardless of who the president is going to be, you need to have a fully stocked emergency fund, okay? Because when crap hits the fan, and make no mistake about it, crap is going to hit the fan. I'm just going to be real with you. You want to have essentially passive liquid income that you can get to immediately. And if you're kind of curious which accounts that I have actually invest my money into, and you're actually curious in regards to what emergency funds and what banks I use for mine, reach out to me, everybody. I do for a small fee. I do coach one-on-ones, and I can pretty much answer into any financial question that you have. I've been doing this for over 20 years, okay? Another thing, too, I want you to focus on is this as well. In the event that you do have that emergency fund, I can't cuss pretty much on this live chat, nor would I, but I will say this. Nothing is cooler than looking a person in the eye and they're talking to you crazy, and you say, you know what? I don't need to work here no more. Goodbye. And you just get up and walk away. It literally is the most freeing feeling in the world. You know for a fact, everybody, that you can get up, walk away, get a $40,000 to $50,000 pay raise to work somewhere else. And best part about it is you can literally chill on the beach for like a year and not do any work because you have that much money saved in your emergency fund. So think about that for a minute. Imagine if you're working somewhere that you hate, right? And you got a boss who's a complete D-bag, right? The guy's just, the man or woman is just completely just it's just crazy. They're talking to you out the side of their neck and everything. And you're like one step away from more or less checking them real quick. I'll say it the professional way. And imagine one day the boss talks you crazy and you tell them straight up, you know what? I don't need to work here no more. And you just get up and grab your laptop and bounce because you have $50,000 saved in the bank. And you know for a fact that when you decide to get back on the job market, you'll get a job within one day, and it'll probably be for about $35,000 or $40,000 more. Everybody, that's power. Because when you don't need to work for somebody, they talk to you differently. They treat you differently. And more importantly, you know for a fact you can do better and you get up and go. So that's another good thing, everybody, about the emergency fund. It's not just about dollars and cents sometimes. Sometimes it's about the emotional security of knowing I don't need this job and I can get up and go somewhere else because my game is that tight, my career skills are that tight, my knowledge is that tight. I know for a fact I can go somewhere else. And once again, everybody, this is whether you want to be in this position, whether you have a Democrat or a Republican in office. That's why I keep saying that. You have to essentially get your emergency fund up. Another thing, too, I want to talk about is this, because I'm also starting to see some things that were kind of popping up this morning with Canada, Mexico, and Donald Trump threatening to hit them with these gas surcharges and everything. So if you're not familiar with the fact, Canada actually imports 60% of the crude oil that we use for our gasoline. I want you to think about that for a minute. Canada, our northern neighbor, essentially gives us 60% of the gas that we use for our vehicles in the United States of America. Not the Middle East, not Dubai, not Saudi Arabia, not Iraq, Canada. 60% of my gasoline comes from Canada, everybody, and 10% comes from Mexico. That means our northern border and our southern border, 70% of the gasoline in our automobiles come from them. And I bring it up for this reason. Donald Trump is talking about putting a 60% tariff on Canada and Mexico. Mexico because of the cartel, supposedly, and Canada supposedly because of the fentanyl. And I say supposedly because there has been no FBI link to Canada actually bringing fentanyl into the United States of America. But if Donald Trump does in fact decide to go through with these tariffs on Canada and on Mexico, Canada, which provides 60% of our gasoline, has already said they're going to essentially hit us with, they're going to basically take that tariff and throw it directly back into the American people. And Mexico has said the exact same thing. What that means, everybody, is this. If Donald Trump goes through with these tariffs on Canada and Mexico, our gas in 2025 is about to get a lot more expensive. Now, I say that for this reason. If you want to financially thrive in Donald Trump's economy, and this does not apply to me, but if you want to financially thrive in Donald Trump's economy and you are thinking about buying a car, right now I have 3 vehicles and none of them have over 50,000 miles on them, so I'm good. But if you were thinking about buying a car in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, over the next 3 or 4 years, and these tariffs go through, the price of gasoline is going to skyrocket. And if that's the case, you want to make sure, everybody, that you buy a vehicle that has essentially very high gas mileage. I'm talking about 50 to 60 miles per gallon or possibly a hybrid. Why? Because if gas goes from right now, it's at $2.99 nationally. If gas goes to $3.75 a gallon or $5 a gallon or $6 a gallon, which it could potentially go through over a 4-year period, You do not want to be driving a vehicle that only gets you about 17, 18 miles per gallon. I'm just going to keep it a buck. So this is the kind of way, everybody, I want you to start thinking about if you want to try to financially thrive in Trump's economy. And for the record, be very leery about some of these quote unquote promises that you're starting to hear from at the top of this administration, because once again, everybody was told for like the last month and a half, crypto is the new thing. Invest as much into crypto. Put all your money into crypto. I have this new crypto coin. Trump says he had this new crypto coin coming out, and he put this crypto coin out, and within one day he lost $8 billion. So what that's telling me is this, everybody: you had better cover yourself. Do your own research on everything. Because if the guy at the top of the ticket is already telling you that essentially you need to buy crypto, you buy crypto and it literally tanks the first day you get it, that is a taste of things to come. And for the record, this guy, Donald Trump, has a history of this kind of stuff. You take a look at his casinos, his Trump University, his bottled water business, his state business, his board game business, his telecommunications business, his water business, and Trump University. Donald Trump has literally failed at every business that he started. And this is not a political statement. This is not a left versus right thing. This is just a legit Google it. I mean, you can take a look at it. Every business that he started, he's basically lost millions of dollars on, including his casinos and his real estate industries, which is what he's known the most for. In fact, if you actually do your research, the only thing I've ever found that Donald Trump has actually made any money on was the show The Apprentice, and the first time that he was president of the United States. So to take it back to what I was saying, be careful about into what people are telling you is if a guy has been seriously bankrupting every business he's ever started for like the last 50 years, why would you take any financial advice from him about as far as buying his cryptocurrency? Come on, people, think. Next, the next thing I think you should probably think about in regards to how you should move in this new economy, and how to financially thrive in Trump's economy is this: stay invested. What I mean by that is this: if you take a look at the reason why a guy like Warren Buffett has made so much money, and currently right now Warren Buffett is worth over 11 figures, is because not only did he invest correctly, Warren Buffett invested early. What I mean by that: compound interest, everybody, is the eighth wonder in the world. That's what Einstein said it best. It's the eighth wonder in the world. So what that means is this: if you started investing $500, essentially, everybody, by the time you were 60 years old, and you die at 80, and you invest $50 at 2 years old, and you do that for the rest of your life until you're 80, the person that invests over that 78 years period, even though they invest 90% less, is going to have significantly more money than that 60-year-old that started investing $500, even though they invested 10 times more and they did it for 20 years. Compound interest, everybody, rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. It gets bigger. Come on, everybody, keep asking these questions, okay? I can go all night with this, but I'm on here to answer your questions. But compound interest, everybody, is the eighth one in the world. So what that means is that as long as you invest your money and you're constantly investing into things that actually build money, such as mutual funds, such as certain types of ETFs, such as certain type of REITs and things of that nature, you are going to essentially make money. And this is especially evident if you keep that money in your account and you keep investing. What you don't want to do is start taking money out of your accounts in the event that, quote unquote, the market is starting to drop a little bit. When eggs are on sale, proverbially, you buy eggs. When clothes are on sale, you buy clothes. So when the stock market is tanking, that's when you want to buy stocks. And what's interesting is that one of the things that I'm starting to notice already is that because the markets are kind of fluctuating with some of the uncertainty that Donald Trump has put into the economy, people are already starting to sell their stocks and starting to sell their investments. And my personal advice is I would not do that if I were you. Be a long-term investor. Be the type of person that invest your money into your index funds and invest your money into your stocks and invest your money into your bonds and invest your money into your mutual funds and invest your money into your real estate and keep it there and do it for decades, okay? So that's what I want you to say. In this economy, a great way to dominate and to financially thrive in Trump's economy, everybody, is to stay invested. Questions, keep them coming. Once again, it's your boy Chris, Financipation. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth. And it's all about financially emancipating yourself, everybody, from generational poverty. I love dropping content. I love giving you guys my weekly content. And I also like going live, too. So ask away. The next way that I want you to financially thrive, everybody, in Trump's economy is to ensure that you actually have your health care. Now, at the time of this live podcast and everything, currently I'm not really hearing any chatter, at least I haven't in Donald Trump's first day, about what he's going to do with Obamacare, otherwise known as the Affordable Care Act. But I do want you to be cognizant as far as what you are doing and how you're going about doing it. So, for instance, if you are a corporate America project executive, you're in corporate America, you have this great business idea, and you're thinking about leaving corporate so you can kind of go out and do your own thing. My advice is make sure that your healthcare situation is taken care of before that. Because if you're, for instance, working for the federal government and you get your healthcare through them, or you're working for a private industry and you get your healthcare through them, and they're basically funding it through Obamacare. Obamacare might not be it anymore. So my advice is make sure that before you make that leap of faith as a full-fledged entrepreneur, make sure you can afford whatever kind of programs that are going to be available in the event you get kicked off of the Affordable Care Act. What careers do you suggest we pursue to thrive during this administration? The God. It's actually funny, bro. I'm actually in the process of doing a podcast about this. So, full disclosure, I am a mechanical engineer. I'm close to getting my professional engineering license. I've worked as a consultant. I've worked in the forensic depositions world. I've worked as a mechanical engineer for construction companies, for law firms, and for private developers for the last 20 or 30 years, in addition to doing finance. My personal advice is this, man. If you want to always have a job, become an engineer. Now, granted, I am a little biased when I say that, but I literally get a job offer every day, as an engineer and as a guy who has an MBA in finance. So if you're serious about trying to, quote unquote, having a career in this administration, if you get a degree in science, technology, engineering, math, healthcare, law, or finance, brother, you will always have a job. And I'm going back to what I said a little bit earlier. There's a podcast I'm about to drop. Of the 50 states in America, the top 3 careers in every state, all 50 of them in the United States, including our territories of Puerto Rico and Guam, engineering is at least one of the 3 top professions in all of those careers. In all those states. Whether it's with the highest being mechanical and electrical engineering. So if you get a mechanical or electrical engineering degree, brother, you are always good to go. Another thing I want you to think about is this: humans are always going to be basically making babies, and they're always going to be dying. So if you become a nurse, if you become a doctor, a nurse anesthetist, or you going to some kind of, or you going to the business side of nursing, where you're essentially helping people with the finances and helping people essentially write the bills for the nursing bills and things of that nature, you're always going to have a job. So if you want to ask me what career you should pursue to thrive in this administration, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, healthcare, law, or finance. If you get a degree in any of those fields, you are always going to have a job. And another thing too that's dope about it as well, not only do I get job offers here in the United States, I get job offers to go abroad all the time as well. So I want you to start thinking globally about this thing. Every country in the world needs nurses. Every country in the world needs medical doctors. Every country in the world needs electrical engineers. Every country in the world needs civil engineers. Every country in the world needs mathematicians. Every country in the world needs teachers. So my advice is this: get a degree in STEM and you are set for life. And another good thing too about getting degrees in those fields is that once you get your professional licenses and everything, you can literally start working on your own. Okay, you don't believe me? If you're a nurse, you can easily pick up contracts on the side and start working at nursing homes or at churches and things of that nature, helping people with their health care. If you are an engineer, you can easily pick up side jobs. So that's a career I would say you should pursue. Another career you should also look into as well, if you're more of a blue collar dude, right now Donald Trump is talking about deporting roughly 16 to 20 million illegals. Whatever that means. So and kicking out 15 to 20 million migrant field hands. So right now, Chicago is actually the first city they're going to hit very hard so they can start deporting people. If you are a licensed plumber, a licensed carpenter, a licensed engineer, roughly 50% of the construction industry is made up of Latino individuals from South America. And a very large percentage of them may get negatively affected by these deportation raids. If that's the case, if you are more of a blue collar dude or you're not a white collar guy, go to trade school, walk into any HVAC technician's office, walk into any electrician's union hall or any elevator operator's union hall, and basically get a job. Because the workforce and the construction industry is about to get seriously affected if these deportations go through. I was in the construction industry for many, many years. And I can tell you right now, a large percentage of that industry essentially is of South American and of Hispanic descent. And in those industries, if you work in construction today, you basically have to learn how to speak Spanish. At least I know I had to. And as a result of that, you have to essentially essentially work with the people who are there, and those individuals get deported, then guess what? That's a job market that's completely wide open for you. So yeah, so if you're blue collar, electrician, plumber, carpenter, elevator operator, steam fitter, HVAC technician, you'll always have a job. If you're white collar, if you're more that white collar type of dude or whatever, science, technology, engineering, math, healthcare, law, and finance, specifically engineering, because engineers are literally they're in the top 3 highest paid professions, the top 3 lowest unemployment rates in every state in America. So hopefully it answers your question, God. Hopefully it answers your question. Yep. Keep moving. All right, I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer, everybody. Keep the questions coming. I appreciate it. And also, please like, comment, share to my YouTube channel, Financipation. Additionally, check out a lot of my content and posts. And also, everybody hit that super chat. Okay, hit that super chat. And my Cash App is $CHRIS P as in Paul or P as in preacher 485. So $CHRIS P as in preacher 485. Another thing I want you guys to do with this current administration, and this really should honestly go without saying, but I want you to be especially cognizant about this right now, because a lot of people, let's just say, we don't really know what's going to happen. Budget your money, okay? Make sure you have a good budget. What are some actionable steps you use to start your own business? All right, cool. Actionable steps. First things first, identify a need. So if you see something, say, why doesn't this exist? Why isn't somebody doing this? Why am I not seeing anybody do this? Guess what, brother? You just basically created a business that you haven't created yet. You basically thought about a business that you need to create. If there's something that's a need that you see, if you basically figure out a way to solve that need and you sell it to the masses, you just created a business. That's the first actionable step. The second one, I am a big proponent of going to LegalShield.com and basically creating an EIN number. So I essentially created my employment identification number. And by doing that, essentially, what it did, LegalZoom. I went to LegalZoom and I basically created a business. And by creating that business, you spend about $500, and they give you something called an EIN number, employment identification number. When you get that employment identification number, from that point, you are a legitimate business entity. And then from that point, you can start going for government contracts, depending on what you're going for. You can start basically applying for bids. You can basically start looking into creating a website and stuff and things like that. And always get an EIN number. Nothing is sadder than essentially seeing a person who spent years working on a business and they never get an EIN number, and then somebody comes by and steals it. If you don't believe me, there's this really cool YouTube right now called Miss Monet, but she had to change her name because she spent years basically putting out content for children, but she ended up getting sued and got a cease and desist letter because someone saw what she was doing, basically looked at it, created an EIN number with her exact same name, and then sued her to stop so she could stop using the name. And what's sad is that she had to basically take all of her content down, and now she's having to basically rebrand herself and put it back. So make sure you get an EIN number. So find a business that you're good. So find something that you're passionate about. Identify a need. Find something that you're passionate about. Go to LegalZoom, create that EIN number, and then start working that business roughly 15 to 20 hours a week if you have a 9-to-5 job. If you don't have a 9-to-5 job, my advice is work that business 70 to 80 hours a week, okay? Because if you're not working, and you're not working a 9-to-5, you have all the time in the world to start that business. Another thing too, brother, read. So if you're starting a business, say in accounting or finance, or how to be a car detailer, or how to become a personal trainer, stuff like that, nothing is new under the sun. And as a result of that, you can go on YouTube, you can read books, you can essentially go listen to podcasts. There are a lot of different things you can do essentially to get better at your craft. I have an MBA in finance, and I've taught it for over 20 years. And I can tell you right now, I still to this day legit go to the library, check out books, and read books about finance. I still to this day, as I'm driving around and everything, I'm still listening to podcasts about money. I'm still listening to podcasts about investing, about how to start a business, things of that nature. So no matter what you do, you can continue to educate yourself and never stop educating yourself. Those are the actionable steps that I'll tell you to take. And then the last thing I'll say is this: stay consistent. When I first started Financipation, I met a whole lot of people that were essentially doing this, that had financial consulting businesses and stuff like that. And the difference between me and them was that I stayed consistent with it. When all of us were essentially working and they wanted to party it up and just kind of chill and blow all their money, I invested my money back into the business, and I stayed with it consistently. And as a result of that, years later, I look up my information. I look these guys up. They quit. They stopped. So stay consistent. And if you stay consistent and you keep basically putting out quality content, it's impossible for your business not to grow. And what I mean by that is this: it's kind of like it's impossible to go to the gym and hit the heavy bag, do a lot of calisthenics, lift weights properly, and eat properly, and not to lose weight and build muscle. It is literally physically and scientifically impossible to correctly work out, correctly lift weights, correctly go to the gym, correctly run on the treadmill, and correctly do your calisthenics, and correctly do your cardio, and not to get healthier and to get in better shape and to build muscle. It's literally impossible. Running a business is the exact same way. It is literally impossible to work hard and to work smart in your business, to do correct marketing schemes, to do correct email chains, to create correct funnels, to improve your product, to identify your customer base, and to sell them your goods. It is literally impossible to do that and not to at some point start getting a profit and making money off of it. It's literally impossible, because just like it's not possible to work out correctly and not to get healthier and not to build muscle, not to lose weight, it is impossible to not build a business correctly and not to at some point start making some kind of profit on it. Okay, so those are the action steps I would tell you to take. Yep. Any other questions to God before I bounce? Yes, Dogecoin. I would say avoid, once again, crypto. Get away from it, people. It's not something I would invest into. So say you identify a need. Do you have a framework or process to develop solutions to solve these problems and fill these needs? Yeah, that's where talking to your client base and talking to the individuals who need that need, that's where it kind of comes into play. So for instance, if you reach out to me and do a one-on-one with me, the guy, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, okay, what exactly are you looking to do? Is your customer base a suburban middle-aged person with a discretionary income of $100,000, or is it more of a rural individual or a person in the hood who has a discretionary income and only make $20,000? So you have to basically find out what those needs are. That's what I'm gonna teach you how to do. Secondly, if your goal is, okay, Chris, I'm making my money. I'm making my money. I go to work every week. I get paid every 2 weeks, but I want to start investing my money properly. Cool. I'm gonna have a one-on-one with you and basically sit you down and say, okay, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Do you have kids? You want to send them to college? Are you trying to basically invest your money? How do you want to invest your money? Do you want to establish a trust for your kids? Do you have a will? Are you trying to start a business? Like, I'm going to essentially try to figure out what exactly it is that you're trying to do just by talking to you. And from there, I can put together a program about how I can help you. It's the same way with your business. Depending on whatever kind of business you're trying to start, once you identify that need, you essentially find people who have that need, and you're going to start seeing the same 15 to 20 questions constantly get asked basically about what they're looking for. And as you start basically talking to people, what you're going to realize is this: the faces change, but it's the exact same individual. It's a different person, but they have the exact same problems. So as a result, you start fixing their needs, and from fixing their needs, you can start figuring, okay, what's the price point that I want to hit at? Do I want to be the type of individual that charges a lot for my service, or do I want to try to be in the middle of the road type thing? That's kind of what it comes down to. So, yep. Any other questions to God? Any other questions, anybody? By all means, everybody, please hit that super chat. It helps the channel and everything. I love giving you guys free content. My Cash App, once again, is $CHRIS, P as in preacher, 485. Chris P 485. Yeah, and as far as the framework and the process, from there too, I create like templates and stuff that I can send you. So I have like polls and stuff that you would do. I have different diagrams you can fill out. I have different, obviously, templates that I use just to kind of make it more efficient, and the invoices that I use. Shout out to you, Chris. Keep doing your thing, bro. Appreciate it, Alex. No doubt, no doubt. But it's about everybody. You work in corporate America and make sure that they're your number one investor for your businesses. And then from there, you make sure that you take the money from corporate, you invest into your business, you invest into yourself. And from there, you pretty much take it to the rest of the world and you invest like crazy. Okay. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you, LeGod. I appreciate that, man. $20. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, everybody, if you want me to go a little more in depth as far as with my financial one-on-ones, just to let you know who some of my clients are, I've worked with Deca Millionaires. I've worked with actually one billionaire. I've worked with small business owners that pretty much bring in about $75,000 a month with their businesses. I work with tax professionals. I have over 1,000 different clients every year, every tax season essentially. And I've worked with medical doctors, lawyers, doctors. I've worked with adult people, stuff like that. Anyway, I work with a lot of individuals, everybody. So from a perspective in regards to one-on-ones with your finances and your money, I've worked with the entire gamut, from the projects to the billionaires. So I can pretty much answer pretty much any type of financial-based question that you have. And if it's something in regards to, okay, Chris, I want to get into making money on YouTube, how to become a YouTuber, Or I want to get into blogging, how to make money on a blog. Okay, I want to get into podcast, I get into podcast. Okay, I want to get into the nonprofit space. Okay, Chris, I want to be an author. I've literally helped people with all that stuff. So as a result of that, reach out to me and I can more or less help you with pretty much probably any type of thing if it goes, okay, this is how much money I make and I want to make more money. Shout out to thank you for that, the God. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So, yep. Yeah, A on your bottle. Any questions? Anyone else? Any questions? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I talked about this a little bit earlier, everybody. I want you to be wary in this new administration, really any administration, about the shiny new financial objects that are going to pop up. Because in general, you want to stick with the tried and true, as I said earlier, land, property, real estate, investing in the businesses and things of that nature. Paul Englishman, where's the best place online for self-publishing? I won't lie to you, Paul. I've always published my books through Amazon. Having said that, there are a lot of different individuals you can promote through. I personally like Amazon because it's ubiquitous; it goes all over the world. But in regards to self-publishing, I mean, you have Kindle book. There's another. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's why I've always went to Amazon. But you have Kindle books. You have there's a couple different ones and everything. But I've always, like as I said earlier, I prefer to go through the more established individuals just because it looks a lot more quote unquote official when somebody says, okay, can you send me a link to your book, and you take them to an Amazon website. That's just kind of something I've always done. Having said that, there are a lot of different ways to self-publish, but my personal advice is this: if you are thinking about writing a book, my advice is write the book and then figure out how you're actually going to get it to the masses. Okay. Are there any business figures that are your inspiration? Oh yeah, I have a lot. To God, I have a lot of. Let me read that question again. Are there any business figures that are an inspiration to you? Absolutely, there are a lot of them. First of all, I'm gonna start with the GOAT, Mansa Musa. If you're not familiar with who Mansa Musa is, he's the richest man to ever live. He was a black African Muslim Mali king that lived in the 1300s on West Africa, essentially modern day, I believe, Ghana. And he was the richest man in the world to live. And one of the reasons why he's an inspiration to me is because the guy gave away so much money. He literally bankrupted the country of modern day Egypt by giving away so much of his money. Modern day times, he'd be worth about 100 trillion with the T dollars. What's sad is that nobody in history ever talks about Mansa Musa. He's a business entity of mine. Another guy I really truly look up to is John D. Rockefeller, the GOAT. I like Rockefeller because he created something called the Rockefeller Trust that literally is monumental in regards to building generational wealth. If you take a look at the 10 richest people to ever live, men and women, very few of them kept their wealth after 4 generations. Rockefeller is one of the only people that I met throughout history, whether it's Joseph Stalin, whether it's Julius Caesar, whether it's Shi Hongtui out in Asia, or whether it's Akbar III in the Middle East. John D. Rockefeller is one of the only people who essentially kept his wealth over 3 to longer than 4 to 5 generations, because he created something called the Rockefeller Trust. And that's an inspiration to me because he taught his grandkids essentially how to keep building on the wealth that he built for them. And that's very challenging to do if you ever try to help out your family members with money. Another guy who's an absolute inspiration of mine is Jack Bogle, the guy who created the Vanguard, essentially the guy who created what we would call the modern day index fund. He basically didn't create the index fund. He took the concept and perfected it. But if you take a look at John D. Rockefeller, he was the first person I've read throughout history that said, stop trying to buy individual stocks. Buy the entire stock market. Stop trying to find the needle in the haystack. Buy the entire haystack. You're going to find a needle somewhere in there. And that's another hero of mine. Besides that, other business figures that are inspirations. I mean, I look up to LeBron James. The guy grew up Section 8 housing, never knew his father. And the dude's a billionaire today. Muhammad Ali. Once again, another guy, just phenomenal, just athlete, philanthropist, businessman. Him and George Foreman are some of the 2 greatest entrepreneurs in the boxing community. I look up to Shaquille O'Neal and Magic Johnson because they took their prowess on the basketball court. Kobe Bryant's another one, and he basically took it to become a billionaire. Kobe was on his way to being a billionaire. Magic Johnson and Shaq are billionaires. So those are just some of the financial inspirations that I have. Another thing too, obviously, you also have the Joseph Smiths of the world. Not Joseph Smith. What's his name? I can't think of it now. He's a financial analyst that owns his own. He's one of the wealthiest black men in America. He's a financial investment banker. I forgot his what's the guy's name? Whatever. Anyway, another guy, very intelligent African American. He grew up lower Section 8 housing, and he's a billionaire today. So that's another guy that I look at. Robert, thank you, thank you. The guy, you're exactly Robert Smith, very intelligent brother, and he's a real one too. I mean, the dude literally paid off. I forgot what college it was. He paid off all the student loans at a college that he was at when he gave the commencement speech. I wish to God I went to that college. So yeah, particularly for grad school. So yeah, Robert Smith. So those are some of my financial inspirations. And ultimately, I want to be a financial inspiration to somebody as well, because when I first started, when I got my MBA, one of the things that led me to do that was I did not see a lot of black men that were talking about financial empowerment, financial literacy, and social media. And most of the people that I saw when I went to like H&R Block, or I went to Vanguard, or I went to Fidelity, they didn't look like me. And to some extent, it is what it is about that. But I wanted to kind of change the narrative of exactly what a financial coach looks like, and what a person who understands how to become financial literate, and more important, how to build generational wealth, what they look like. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping that I'm going to be an inspiration to people as well. So yeah, keep it moving, everybody. Keep it moving. Anyone else? Yeah, Mark Cuban, he's another one as well. I like Mark Cuban. He has a very he's a billionaire that people like, and that's not a very easy thing to do. Yeah, I respect Mark Cuban because his players, when he owned the Dallas Mavericks, they never had anything really bad to say about him. I respect that. Richard Branson, he's not really all that known very well here in the United States. Richard Branson in the UK, read his book "Losing My Virginity and Finding My Virginity." Cool as heck. The guy's a billionaire, but literally he's the kind of billionaire that you would never know, and he's just cool as the other side of the pillow. So I'm recommending a book, The Richest Man in Babylon, but I haven't read it yet. Read that book; it is phenomenal. The thing I love about The Richest Man in Babylon was that they actually found it on papyrus scrolls in Egypt. So it's about 6,000 to 7,000 years old. They found it right before World War One started in Europe, and the book was written on the back of papyrus scrolls underneath some of the mausoleums in Egypt, and it's 7,000 years old. But the financial knowledge inside of it is still applicable today. Tell me if that's not standing the test of time and standing the sands of time. A book was written 7,000 years ago about how to build wealth, generational wealth, and it's still applicable today. That is dope. Are there any professional networks and associations that you are part of to connect with like-minded people? Yeah. I'm an engineer by trade, so the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE, that's a phenomenal one. I'm an MBA, so the National Society of Black Engineers, the National the National Master's Degree in Business Administration, NABA, I'm part of them. The Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, that's another group I'm a part of. So those are some of the organizations you can be a part of. I also would say this: real estate should be a large investment portion of everybody's portfolio. Particularly, you need to understand how it works. So my advice is join a local real estate organization, join a local group about that kind of stuff. So when it comes to my professional organizations, I'm a part of my engineering ones. I'm a part of my finance ones. Find a very good real estate one, and you're not going to go wrong. Okay, like-minded people. Another thing too, find any organization that has a lot of business owners as well. Start kind of kicking it with them as well, because the thing about business owners is that they talk a very different language. And by business owners, I prefer to hang out with ones that are blue collar and white collar. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of engineers. Never have, never will. Even though I am an engineer, I don't like hanging out with a bunch of finance dudes. Never have, never will. I want to hang out with both. I want to hang out with electricians, plumbers, carpenters, people that own their own electrical companies, people that own their own pipe fitter companies, people that own their own plumbing companies, people that own their own engineering firms. Why? Because it teaches you a different way to kind of mingle and talk to everybody, and also to put you in different rooms. You have to kind of become a chameleon as far as, okay, how do I actually move in these circles? And the good thing about it is that whether it's a lawyer that has his own law firm, or it's an electrician that has his own electrical company, all entrepreneurs to some extent speak the same language. We feel different, we talk different, we look different, we move different. So that's another thing. Yep. All right, everybody. Any other questions? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yeah, Peg Englishman. That's a good book. Another book, Peg, I think you should probably take a look at The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. That is a phenomenal book as well. It's a very easy read, but he talks about some very powerful concepts. Another good book is Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. I won't lie to you. That book is a little more technical. I have an MBA. I've done finance for decades. With that book, I actually had to really get into some stuff that Tony Robbins was talking about with a few of the concepts. But he breaks down everything from annuities to investment funds to index funds to Roth IRAs, the EIT, all that stuff. He talks about everything. So that's a good one as well. I need education on investing. Well, Peg, do this. Shoot me a DM, book a one-on-one session with me, and my first 15 minutes, I'll talk to you. I'll kind of get an idea of what you're looking for, and it's book a one-on-one, and I can walk you through any investment thing that you have. Almost out of debt, next step building was absolutely. If you are almost out of debt, Peggy, yeah, definitely reach out to me. Shoot me a DM. Let's figure out a time where we can kind of talk for about 10 minutes. I can find out what you're looking for, and I can put together the perfect plan to teach you how to invest your money, how to build generational wealth. Okay, that's what I do on my channel. I'll teach you how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, how to build generational wealth, and how to financially emancipate yourself from poverty. Okay, so yeah, reach out to me and do that. Also, check out my YouTube channel as well. I walk you through. I have over 300 videos on Financipation, just like it's spelled in the sign right here, front of my hoodie, where I'm essentially teaching you how to build, once again, generational wealth. I've done this thing for decades. I know, and I enjoy doing it. It's like a ministry of mine that I thoroughly enjoy. Yep. Everybody, any other things? Send them my way. Send them my way. As I said earlier, everyone, just obviously we have a new how do you organize and prioritize your business tasks to be most effective and efficient with your time. For me, I've always been to the point where I write down what needs to be done, and after you write it down, you can kind of prioritize. Okay, what's most important? I have some things that only I can do. Period. None of my employees, none of my workers, none of my consultants, none of my subcontractors, none of them can do it. I have to do that. That's the kind of stuff that gets done, taken care of first thing in the morning. Period. I have other tasks that I can do, but I want to teach someone else how to do it. So I start slowly giving them tasks. That's okay. I can do this, but I need you to do it. And then from there, I can determine if they do it right. I get them harder tasks to do it. If they don't do it right, I teach them. I educate them on what they're doing wrong, how to make it better. And then there's other tasks that no longer it doesn't make any sense for me to essentially do anymore. It's just not cost efficient. If my per rate hour is $200 an hour, I shouldn't be doing five. I should not be doing $10 an hour tasks. So I personally write down what needs to be done. And then from there, as I basically check them off. Some items I have to be the one to do. I'm the only one that can do them in my business. Then there are other tasks that I pretty much assign and delegate to my subcontractors and to my consultants. So that's how I do it. And other stuff as well. Take care of your body. Never get overweight and everything. Take care of your body. Obviously, nobody can work out for you. So that may require you to get an hour early or stay an hour, or instead of after you leave the office, instead of going directly home, basically go to the gym. So there's certain things that you kind of have to take care of yourself. Okay, that's how I prioritize, and that's how I'm efficient with my time. Yep. Another thing too, be very selfish about how you want to party and have fun. What I mean by that is this: you can blow an entire Sunday watching 7 or 8 football games. You can blow an entire Sunday just sitting at the bar, just eating wings and just watching TV. Or you can work like crazy 6 or 7 Sundays straight, and then you can take the money from your profits. You can fly to like the south of France, or you can fly to like Dubai, and kick at the Burj Khalifa, or you can basically fly to Latin America, and go to like an international salsa competition. That's what you're into. So as far as efficiently managing your time, my advice is be very selfish with it. Do what you have to do when you need to do it, and do that consistently. And then when it's time to have fun, to disappear and just basically go ham, to basically do a guy's trip to another country or do a hang out with your family. If you work like crazy and you efficiently manage your time when you're working, efficiently manage your time when it's time to party and have fun. So, for instance, my wife and I are planning an international trip right now to the Caribbean. The only reason why we can do it is because I had busted my balls when I'm supposedly working. So Sundays, when I can sit there and watch 4 or 5 football games, I may watch one half, or I can kick with my boys and hang out with them on a Saturday night. Instead of me doing that 6 or 7 Saturday nights in a row, I'm basically working my business some of those Saturday nights, and then when it's time, like I said, me and my wife fly to another country. We can basically fly to Miami for something. So that's the kind of thing I'm telling you about. So make sure that you budget your time efficiently, and by doing that, when it's time to have fun, it's time to party, you can really party and have fun. All right, everybody. Any other questions? So I drop new content every week, every Sunday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. Additionally, everyone, something else I do as well, I try to go live at least once a week. Peggy and anyone else, Peg Englishman, anyone else is listening, by all means, please send me a direct message and everything in regards to booking a one-on-one session with me. Just check out some of my content below. If you want to get in touch with me, go to any of my YouTube channels. You're going to see basically a link and the email address you can email me at, therealfinancipation@gmail.com. And from there, you can reach out to me and book a one-on-one session, or you can just go to my website, www.therealfinancipation.com. Click the red button, subscribe. Also click the red button and book a one-on-one session with me. Once again, at Financipation, I teach you how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, how to build generational wealth, how to financially emancipate yourself from generational poverty. Tonight, we talked about a lot of different things in regards to why I'm avoiding crypto, why Donald Trump's cryptocurrency just lost $8 billion, why there's certain things you can be investing into that are a little more tangible, such as real estate, such as stocks, such as index funds, such as REITs, such as bonds, such as ETFs. We talked about books and things of that nature. But in general, everybody, like I said, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, you're more than welcome. Please hit that super chat. Thank you to God for that $20. I appreciate that. Thank you, Reba, for that money you sent as well. But if you guys want to book a one-on-one session, by all means, please do that. My Cash App is $CHRIS, P as in preacher, 485, okay? And with that, everybody, it's your boy Chris. I'm out. Going once, going twice. Any other questions? All right. See y'all next week, okay? Check out my daily content. I drop content once a week, Sundays at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. Reach out to me, DM me, everybody, and I'll look forward to hearing from all you guys. God bless. Peace. Peace.